Hi guys, I was really hoping that this would be the last update I ever had to give on Greece travel restrictions, but I don't think that that's going to be the case. Not much has changed since the last video, except for one big exception for one country, and that's while I'm here. So as usual, citizens from the EU and the Schengen zone, including permanent residents, are allowed into Greece. You still have to quarantine for 7 days if you're coming from those countries, but you are allowed to come. The other countries that are allowed to come are Israel, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, South Korea, Thailand, Rwanda, Singapore, the UAE, and Russia. So the exceptions to this thing are that Israel citizens and permanent residents can come and not quarantine if they have met a couple of conditions. One, that they have received either the full 2-dose vaccination if they're getting 2 doses, or 1-dose vaccination with certificate, and then it has to be 14 days after you received the last dose. And my understanding is that you still have to have a PCR test so that you don't have to quarantine. The other things that have slightly changed, although I think this has just been an addition, is that if you're coming from the UK and the UAE, you have to have a rapid test on arrival. It's always been the case for the UK, but I think the UAE is a new addition. I don't know, it changes so much. I can't keep track, to be honest with you. If you're coming from the UK though, you will then have to take another PCR test at the end of the 7 days to prove that you're still negative. That has been that way for a while now. The other thing is if you're coming from Russia, they're limiting how many people can come into Greece every week from Russia. Like there's a cap. So those are kind of the basic updates. Everybody still has to quarantine for 7 days on arrival. And these, for international travel, this has been extended until April 19th at 6 a.m. So if you're coming before then, you're still gonna have to do all these things. And I will predict that even if we start to allow more travelers to come, the negative PCR test will still be a requirement, whether you've been vaccinated or not. They're still saying that they're going to open Greece to tourism by May 14th, and that you will be allowed to come if you've been vaccinated, if you've had a negative PCR test, or if you have antibodies. I think that will be the case when we get closer to that date, but I think it's going to probably be until that date that these regulations are still in place. We're still having a large number of cases here in Greece, and it's just not going down. I have my own theories about that, but I'm not a doctor or a scientist, so I'm going to keep my opinions to myself. But if you are coming, there are a few things that you should know, because a few things in Greece have changed. First, we now are no longer under a curfew on the weekends from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. Some parts of the country weren't in that, but in Athens we were. That's no longer the case. The curfew is now 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. everywhere. And then I think like a week and a half ago, they opened all the archaeological sites. So if you did come, like if you were able to come and you did your 7 days quarantine, you could now go to the Acropolis if you want to, any of the other outside archaeological sites. So none of the museums are open though. And just this last week, on the weekends, we can travel outside our municipalities for exercise. So you can go by car or public transportation to, like, say, go to the beach, which that may change. Right now it's only on the weekends. And what that means is, like, so I live in Athens, so I can go down to Piraeus, or I can go down to Glyfada to go to the beach. That had been restricted for a while. And then as of today, stores are open almost everywhere. They announced last Wednesday that stores would be able to open for either purchasing, where you purchase over the phone and then go and pick it up, or you made an appointment to shop in the store. However, by Friday, some municipalities' numbers had kind of shot up, so you can't shop in person in Thessaloniki, Parga, and Kozani. But hopefully by next week, those places will open up as well. And you have to send a special text message to go do this shopping. It's different than the current text messaging system that we have. I will link to that information in the description box because it is too complicated to explain in this video. But just know that if you're coming, like if you're coming for business and you need to go buy something, you're gonna have to make an appointment. And really the only way for most places to make an appointment is to call them. And then you're gonna have to send a text message when you leave your house. And then if you're asked, you're gonna have to show the appointment, which will probably be sent to you via SMS. So if you don't have a Greek number, this could be difficult. I think this is gonna prove to be a real headache this week for a lot of foreigners who live here who don't have a Greek SIM card. All right, I'm really hoping that the May update is the last one, at least for a while. So I'll be back hopefully in May or maybe sooner if we get lucky to give you an update on when everyone can come. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments, and stay subscribed if you want to see the next update, hopefully the last update. All right guys, I'll see you in the next video.